thing.
Okay. So, where we last left off, you guys were figuring you were going to try to make your way to where you figured Abrash was. You made it to the forest where you found the Druid Grove previously to retrieve the holy water. You bedded there for the night, and then woke up, and then did about a day's worth of travel to get to the other edge of the forest where you found movement and these big trees. I also forgot to mention you guys met an old friend of Vickers named Tank, who gave you the lead of where to find these big moving things causing a disturbance. Upon finding these two very big trees, there was a crazed looking elf with dark brown skin who was screaming something at you. The only one who was able to actually pick, I forgot to mention this part last time, the only one who was able to pick apart some of what he was saying was Khazur, because he's speaking in Ancient Elvish, which is a dialect that none of you all understand. But you kind of get the gist. Things are going south pretty quick. And you see the trees turn around, ready to attack, and I'm going to need everybody to roll initiative.
Oh.
Is Tank with us?
Tank is not. Tank still is back where he was before.
Dang it,
I got a
he's
5.
So cute.
Got you beat, Tony. I got a 3.
Hell yeah.
All right, Cassian, what'd you get?
I'm not sure yet. Hold on.
Okay,
D&D made me
Kai,
stop
what did you get?
participating.
Thank God I got that shield, because I literally rolled a 1, and then I rolled a 20. It's
So
like,
it's
thank
a
God.
20. All right, Newmont.
21.
21. Vicar.
18.
18. Cassian, do you have your roll yet?
It's loading.
Okay.
Dice is
While we're
rolling.
waiting for Cassian, Scott, you read the rule change to Stunning Strike, correct?
Yeah, we're doing that.
Yep. So, just so you know, no guilt on your side if you want to use Stunning Strike. Completely okay. That's fine to use, guilt-free.
So don't get
I got a
surprised if the
17.
tree... Oh, sorry.
17. All right. So, as we start this, you see that this crazed wizard, after yelling something in a language that you don't quite understand,
Yeah.
kind of recedes back into this hole in the tree, and then just kind of watches. And that's what he's going to do with his turn. Numot, your turn.
Alright. I'm gonna wait until we have the battle map up and
It's there.
everybody's
Yes.
situated, I guess.
The battle map is up. Your characters are in there.
Because I know me and Vicar were like staying far back, correct?
Well, I
Yeah,
thought we
so-
were off to the side.
Yeah, I think you guys, you had a flanking thing, so in case things went wrong, there was a couple of you who weren't in the way. So, Josh, could you throw another icon up so we have the two trees?
Yeah.
I mean, I see a lot of trees.
The tree ends wise guy. Ha 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 ha. We're gonna... Okay. I'm gonna get 2 of these guys in here for now and just delete the third because a brash, or what you guys would assume is a brash, is tucked inside one of the trees, pretty well protected. So, you are off to the side. You notice things are not going quite the way that you would originally intend. What are you doing, Newmont?
And they look like they're about to wreak havoc.
The trees, maybe not perhaps the fastest, but yeah, they look like they do not have good intentions towards your group.
I will stay where I am and chuck a dart at the top tree.
What is your reach with darts?
20 to 60.
Okay.
And right now it's 50 feet away.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
So
Yeah,
that's
50.
a roll with disadvantage because it's beyond the 20-foot range. So the number / other number, the first number is the range that you have normally.
15.
15 misses the tree.
Mm,
Oh fuck.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Forest, huge. Rather spider webs.
All right, I will go here and then chuck a dart from 20 feet.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your other attack.
20 to hit.
20 hits.
And now are we doing darts use martial dice?
Yes. And we're using the 2024 rules for martial dice.
Do you want to elaborate on that real fast?
So I think Dave will have it up, but I'm
It's
pretty
just
sure you
one
get...
die up, basically, for the whole
Yeah.
set.
So I
Alright.
think you have like a D6 instead of
Yeah.
a D4.
Yep,
It's
yep,
4 to 10, or now it's 6 to 12. So whatever you are at now, just go up one.
Yep. And that will
Go off
be
one.
7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. You see a dart land firmly into this thing's trunk, and it kind of looks at you, and it didn't expect you to be attacking it from the side, so it looks a little confused. Is that the end of your turn?
No. Where? Hold on, I have to get this up. I will spend a key point and do patient defense.
Okay. Good to know. Does that end your turn?
Yes.
Okay, Kai, you're up.
So I know these guys want to fight. I don't know if there's a way to get away from that. So I'm going to go my entire movement, which isn't very far. I'm not like Scott. Which is only 30 feet. Right there. Right, that's 30 feet. 25. And then as best as I can, which I'm still pretty far. I don't know if they can hear me or even understand me from 30, 40 feet away. I'd like to yell in Elvish. I would kind of been like, wait. Yeah.
I'm going to say your starting point for this is closer to here, because you guys were within speaking distance. You did reach out to it and say, hey, it was Newmont and Vicar who wanted to stay a little bit further back to the left. So you guys are closer to here at starting point.
I want to be that close. In case they do attack me. I'll walk like a little bit up. I'll get like within an uncomfortable space that I'm now comfortable with. So being closer, I'm still going to yell anyway, because I still don't know if this guy can hear me, because that's what happens when you translate languages. People just talk louder for no apparent reason, and it doesn't help. But we're going to do it anyway. And in Elvish, not Ancient Elvish, I'd like to be like, wait. We don't want to fight. Are you a Brash? I would take it. I think I know who you are. We're hoping to help you end this forest. We do not wish to fight or cause anybody harm.
Okay, roll an insight check for me.
Okay. Do I have an insight thing? I don't even know. I got a 16.
16?
Plus 4, 20.
You can see that there was a sign of recognition when you say a brash. Roll persuasion with disadvantage.
How about fish? That's a good start. That was a good one. That's an even better one. That's a persuasion. That's a 2.
You get the sense that he's not picking up on a lot of what you're saying. It's a good effort. Do you want to try to do anything else? It's not going to take your whole turn just to try to reach out and say something.
Yell at him. I don't really want to fight them, but I feel like they don't really have much of a choice.
He did seem off his rocker.
Do you guys see any way not to fight these guys? Otherwise, I go full bore real quick.
I'd
I
rather
mean,
not as well, but I don't.
Yeah, I was gonna try to contact Alwyn and see if he could
Do something.
give us something to snap him out of it.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm gonna actually just take my turn, kind of do what Scott did. I'm just gonna do patient defense right here. I'm just gonna kind of just not do anything. And we'll see if we can resolve this peacefully in some way. It might not go well, but
Okay. Vicar, your turn.
I am going to use my action to use the Sending Stone and tell Alwyn that we found a brash.
You have
But-
25 words. Use your words
Okay,
carefully.
I'll type it to you then.
No, say it out loud so we can count.
I will, but after I type it out.
a brash cray, gib help word to understand.
Yeah, he'll totally be able to decipher that.
Alan just goes, "What the fuck?"
Starts bleeding from the nostril.
Um,
Mhm.
I'm gonna say found a brash, seems out of his mind. How do we snap him out of it?
You
Urgent.
hear a response very quickly. This is surprising. Bring him here, and I can fix his mind.
I'll call out to the group.
Wait,
that...
he's not done yet.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Mhm.
As you're trying to call to the group, you hear the continuation of the message.
I got. Oh.
I can't locate you. I gave you that magic item.
Ooh.
And you
Hmm.
recall he did give you a talisman that makes it so
Yep.
that
The anti-scry.
exactly.
You like un. Do you? Are you? Is Scott wearing it?
Yeah, I have it on.
He's all the way over there.
It was within 120-foot radius.
Mm.
That's a really
So-
small circle.
Fuck off, Scott.
Just gonna start
Is-
running
is-
into the
is-
woods.
You could start running into the woods, I guess.
Is Alwyn saying that he could get here if
Gotta
That
he
is
knew where we were?
that is the entirety of the message that you
Okay.
receive.
All right.
Based on his response, do an insight check for me.
All right. It's not great. It's a 6.
no.
6. It's hard to tell what Alwyn's demeanor was. He's a hard person to read in general, but you couldn't really tell if he's like, "Oh, you guys are done for. It was nice knowing you," or "Oh, you guys can handle this. I'm not that worried." You don't really know.
So I will call out to the group that Alwyn said to bring him in. Could we take the trees down and try to subdue a brash?
Okay. That is your
Yeah.
action to send a sending spell.
Yep.
Any bonus action?
Let me think. I guess I will obscure myself in the trees and use hide.
Okay, go ahead and roll a stealth check for me.
Where'd he go?
Would this be with advantage?
It Is there something that says you get advantage, or
Yes, it's the elven cloak.
yeah, checks that
Okay.
rely on sight. Well, no, that's disadvantage on. Does it say it gives
It's
you
both.
advantage on? Okay, all right. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead and roll with advantage then.
So it is a 27.
27.
Way to go.
Okay. I'm going to. I'll have him do that on his turn. Never mind. Okay, so that ends your turn.
Yep.
All right. You see the animated tree that was not skewered by Scott kind of clumps its way over to you, Kai. I'm going to say actually he kind of puts himself here.
Wow.
And he is going to try to clobber you.
That's fair. He does have disadvantage.
time.
He has disadvantage. Okay. So, first slam attack, natural 1. I don't even need to roll a disadvantage. Can't roll any lower.
Hey.
Second slam attack, natural 18 for the first one. And
Oh wait, how does that work if you hit multiple?
does a 20 hit?
Nope.
20 does not hit. Okay.
Damn.
So it tries to slowly and kind of powerfully come down, and you see it missed its aim entirely, and you see a huge pound in the dirt, and then he lifts his fist up and he looks at the pound like he's satisfied that he got you, and then he sees you standing right next to him, and then he tries to do the exact same motion, and you just do like a slight step to the left, and the same thing happens. It doesn't quite get you. That is going to end his turn.
That was hilarious.
Cassian, what are you doing?
Oh boy. I'm gonna move right up behind Kai.
Hello.
And then I'm going to I'm going to take a whip attack against this first tree. Here.
Okay.
Let's see. That is 14 plus 9.
That is definitely going to hit.
Okay. That is 4 plus 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. This is to the
Uh,
other one. Okay.
and then I'm gonna take another attack, which is 17 plus 9. That definitely hits.
Mm-hmm.
That's also 7 points of damage.
Okay. You have a bonus
Correct,
action?
Correct. Not for now.
Okay.
Everything good for now.
That is going to end your turn. The other tree. Scott, you tried to hit it. You know what? Hang on. Let's do an intelligence check. These things are not. They're not stupid.
It was a bee. It wasn't my
Is
dart.
it two or is it three?
There's 2 of them, but Abrash is nestled within the one that Numod attacked first.
Okay, okay.
It's-
I don't want to kill.
It rolled a fort. Yeah, it's going to go 5, 10, 15, 20. It's going to move all the way up here. And it is going to try to squash you. You see Abrash has these, like, manic eyes that are kind of, like, wide and not scared and not, like, totally crazy, but curious and a little crazy. And the tree is going to try to attack you, but you have patient defense, so disadvantage.
Yes.
Another natural 1 on the first roll.
Hey.
That's going to miss.
Job, Scott. Even though you didn't do that.
Does a 21 hit?
Oh yeah.
Okay. You take 16 points of damage as this thing crashes down on you with a pretty serious slam attack. Also, I made an oopsie whoopsie. I should have had him throw a rock at you from a distance, but that's my bad. That would have done more damage to you anyways. That is going to end its turn. Sid, you're up.
How is Abrash set up? Is he in the tree? Like,
He is currently nestled within this tree right beneath Scott. He's almost completely surrounded. Only someone who's really close to the tree would be able to see him nestled within the trunk.
I see. And is it exposed at all, or is it just like his face sticking out?
Not from your perspective. The only person who'd have a potential shot at trying to get a Brash specifically is Newmont. But he is pretty well protected. You get the sense that any damage you try to do to a Brash is probably going to hit the tree first. Not
And if
definitely,
I
but
wanted to lasso him out of that tree, would it be possible?
you could try, but you would think that... Roll an intelligence check for me.
Am I smart?
We don't.
Let's see. That is a 14.
14, okay. You could try to lasso him out, but you know that druids are pretty well connected with nature, and if a druid has nestled himself inside a tree, the odds of you being able to get him out are pretty low. Your time would probably be better spent trying to break him out, or take care of the threat in front of you first.
I see.
Hmm.
Very well. I can't make it up to that one, so I'm gonna go behind this one,
Alright, you get a +1 to your attack roll.
and then we're gonna smack him. That is a 17, or no, 12 plus 7. What is that? 19.
19 is gonna hit.
And it's a D8. Oh, I do 5 on the first attack.
5 points of damage.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I roll again for second attack.
Yes, you roll again for second attack.
Ooh, that's not gonna hit. That's a 10.
10 misses. Anything else, or is that end your turn?
I am done.
Okay. Kazer, you're up.
Okay, I am gonna use 3 sorcery points, and I'm gonna summon my Hound of Ill Omen,
Mm.
and we'll send it at the one that's got a Brash inside, the one by Scott.
How far can you summon him?
That's what I was trying to find. It just says as a bonus action, 6th level, you begin the ability to call forward. It just says you can spend the sorcery points to magically summon it to target one creature you can see within 120 feet. I don't think it's...
So 120 feet.
Okay, wait. Now, the Hound appears in an unoccupied space of your choice within 30 feet of the target.
30 feet. Okay, so you could get right here. That's as close as you could get with summoning him. But then, for the sake of simplicity, does it already go after your turn, or does it say it has its own initiative?
Roll initiative for the Hound. But no, it's
I'm-
30 feet from the target, and the target can be 120 feet away from me.
Oh, so you could summon it directly on the target if the
That's
target is
cool.
within 120 feet. Okay. Yeah, that works. That works.
So I'll summon that, like, right where your cursor is, basically.
Okay. And for the sake of simplicity, and this is like a homebrew roll of mine, summon spells are just going to go right after your turn to make things easier. So we don't have to worry about, like, breaking up combat in between other people's
Okay.
turn. It just gets a little
Yeah, that makes sense.
obnoxious.
Yeah,
So-
that's fine. I guess I'll just use, like, for my main action, I'll use Firebolt on the tree.
Okay.
See, Scott.
And it is a nat 20, 27.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah, that's going to work. And it's a firebolt too, right?
Oh, bolt.
It is!
All right. So go ahead and roll damage.
14.
It takes more damage than you think it would.
Okay. And then for my Hound, you might have to help me a little bit with this, Jacob. It gets advantage if I have an ally within 5 feet of what I'm attacking. So it should have advantage on the attack.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find out what I actually rolled to see if it hits.
It's probably your spell attack modifier. That would be my guess. Let's see. classes.
Bite, melee weapon attack, +5 to hit.
Okay. All right. So it has its own thing.
But +5 to what?
A d20.
Yeah, you're D20.
Oh, okay, just a standard.
That's cool.
So the first one is Dirty 18.
Okay,
Or
that's gonna hit.
yeah, that's the better one. So that one, and then that does 2d6 plus. So 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. All right.
And then I'm going to. This is like difficult movement, I'm guessing, right? Through the
No.
trees.
Oh, through the trees, yeah, but through the pathway, no.
Yeah, I'm gonna go here.
Just trying to
My
obscure
turn.
yourself.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
an action to hide, though, right?
It's an action to hide for everybody except for Vicar.
Mhm.
But I'm going to give you a +2 to your AC for being behind cover. But I'm
Sweet.
gonna give you a -1 to dexterity saving throws. I don't think that's going to come into play at all, to be honest. But you're
Oh.
kind of nestled between a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. That will end both of our turns.
Okay. The Archdruid. He's not really an Archdruid. Abrash is going to stay nestled within the trunk, looking at Numot. And then he kind of peeks out a little bit and sees the hound behind the tree. And he's going to just kind of peek back in, and you see the bark. As he comes out, the bark kind of moves aside, and as he comes back in, the bark kind of encircles back around again, almost so it's just like his head inside this this little tree opening here. It's going to end his turn. Numot.
I'd help you, but you're so far away.
Let's see.
Wait, so with flanking, though, does Numot get advantage because the hound's there as well?
If it's directly behind, yeah, Numot would get advantage. Or not advantage, you get a +1 to his attack rolls.
Okay.
So are we going to say you have your hound behind?
Yeah, I thought it would count like the 3 behind him, honestly. But like if that is the case, I'd put it there if that's fine.
It's going to be like the 4 checks here. You can get a maximum of +4, so basically like a plus around the target or a diagonal around the target like this.
I see. Yeah,
As long as
we'll
it's
go behind
opposite
then, if
ends.
that's the case.
Okay. So Numot, you get a +1 on any attack rolls you want to make against this thing.
Yep. Well, probably won't do much, but I'm gonna try to just quarterstaff this bitch.
All right.
Fuck him up.
Some wood on wood action.
Yeah. 18.
18 hits.
Mhm, mhm.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. And that will be 6 points of damage.
6 points of damage.
And I will try to quarterstaff again.
Hang on, I just did 6 points to the wrong one. Okay, go ahead.
That's a 20.
20 hits.
And that is 10 points of damage.
10 points of damage. Things
And
looking a little rough now. Go ahead.
I will spend a key point to disengage.
Wise idea.
5. Is this difficult terrain? Like all to my right?
Yeah, the pathway is the only thing that's not difficult terrain.
Okay, I will go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. And nestle in the bushes there.
Okay. Give you a +2 to your AC because you're kind of a little bit hidden away through thick foliage. And same thing, -1 to Dex saving throws.
Aight, and that will end my turn.
Okay, Kai, you're up.
So I've been asked to say Mata Mata. That's what my friend asked me to say. So I'm going to start off with a stunning strike as a bonus attack first.
Okay.
See if I can stun this guy really quick to make this somewhat quick. Where is that? I forget. I was gonna punch. So it's an 11 plus 5. So that's a 16. Does that hit? I don't think that hits.
16 just
Oh
hits.
my god. Okay, so that only does 3 points of damage, but it'll do. Where's the? I'm just checking to see. Where the hell is it? I don't know why I can never find Stunning Strike.
I believe I need to make a con saving throw, and it
Yeah, I'm
equals
just trying to
your
find that number. There it is.
DC. Okay.
DC 15.
DC 15. All right, this is a 50-50 shot here. Ooh, it fails, and it's got a really good con. I didn't miss anything, right? No. Okay, yeah, no, it just fails. Okay, so it is stunned.
Oh yeah, I forgot that doesn't work the same way now. It can't
next-
attack, right?
It cannot attack until someone attacks it, but the next hit landed on this thing is a critical hit.
I'm gonna go walk over to this one now.
Okay. You provoke no opportunity attack.
I do or don't?
You do not
Okay, I
provoke.
thought
an
I was gonna get one on
opportunity
him.
attack.
Like, oh shit.
No.
And I'm gonna hit this guy. So then, I don't remember if Zen or Tony goes next. I should have remembered. But I'm gonna do a breath attack on this guy, which is
Okay.
a Dex 14 save.
Dex 14.
D10.
It did not go to dexterity school.
It's a tree.
It rolled a 16 minus 1, 15.
So that's a 6 and a 6. So I got 12. Oh, I got a 15?
Yeah, I rolled a 15.
So it passes because it's a Dex 14.
Okay.
So I did 12 points of damage for the first attack. Which would be
Okay, is that halved? But
Yeah.
what kind of damage is
it's
it?
fire.
Okay, so it does 12 points of damage.
Yep. Okay, we're gonna just avoid that then. Okay.
You kind of missed a little bit of it, but then you realize the part that you did hit burned extra bright.
So then I'm gonna follow up with another one. Scott's not anywhere close to this, so
Nope.
yeah. So this will
It
be
is
a little
bloodied.
yeah. So this is a line instead of a cone, but Scott's not here, so it's the same thing. This is an 8. Where's my 8? 8. Okay. So this is a Dex 15.
Dex 15.
So that's a 4 and a 1. So
Natural 20 for a 19 total.
yep. So that's a whopping 5 points of damage, which we
Fire
ran at
damage?
before. Yeah. So just
Fire damage, so.
yeah. So
But wait, if it's halved, but.
and
Okay.
it passes. Yep. It's just 4.
Okay.
Son of a fish.
It's a good thing you wasted that nat 20 on a saving throw, though. This thing hurts when it hits.
And
Does
that's
that end your turn?
That's all I got.
Vicar.
Okay. You said guaranteed crit, huh?
Guaranteed crit. If you manage to hit it, it's a guaranteed crit on the stunned one right now.
All right, I'm gonna shoot at this stunned one.
All right.
Would I have advantage from being hidden?
You
Mm-hmm.
would. I think for your first attack,
Yeah.
you have
Mhm.
advantage.
All we care about.
Okay. So it is a 9 plus 8. So I get a 17. Or no, I'm sorry. It's a 9 plus 7. So it's a 16.
That just hits.
All right. That is going to be. Now, how are we doing this? Double the die or just double the damage?
It's up to you. It's basically the
The
same
same
either
thing.
way.
Okay.
Actually, no. It's double the dice, not double the damage, because it
Okay.
also includes your additional bonuses. Just double the dice.
Okay. 2, 5, 7. And then.
3 hours later, doing all the
Yeah. Does it double my bonus damage, like the 1d6 plus 4? Does it double the plus 4?
It doesn't double the +4. It doubles just the dice.
Okay. Okay. Okay, and then so that's 11 plus 8d6. So we have 12, 15, 19, 21, and then 4 more d6. We
Jeez.
got 23. Oh,
Are you keeping the total amounts here? Because I'm
24.
not doing this one at a
yep. 28. 33.
33 total points?
Yep,
Alright. I'm assuming none of that is fire damage.
it is not. No.
Yeah, that one hit put a pretty good hurt on this thing. You see the as the arrow flies from the woods, seemingly out of nowhere, streaking over Cassian's shoulder. When it hits the bark of this thing, it splinters off a good portion of the the bark. Does that end your turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna abuse the hide.
So the tree closest to Kai is going to see Kai.
Lol.
I'm gonna roll an intelligence check here to do a funny thing.
I'll find these.
I will
Nope.
fail.
He's not smart enough at that. So he's not smart enough to do the funny thing, but he is gonna try to clobber you.
This makes sense.
You didn't patient defense end of last turn.
Correct. I did stunning strike.
That is a 19 to hit, which I believe misses,
Deflects off the shield.
and a 23 to hit.
That definitely hits.
That is going to be
Son of a
19 points of damage.
Thank God I don't have that armor on.
Yeah, that was vulnerability to bludgeoning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have hurt.
Uh-huh.
Okay. That ends its turn, Cassian.
Okay, I'm going to take a whip attack against it. That is a 16 plus 9. And then I'm going to spend a superiority die to try and frighten my target.
The tree. So afraid.
Okay.
It's a wisdom save.
Wisdom save.
Are trees wise?
14.
Fails.
Okay.
So the tree is now frightened.
It is a scared.
Let's see. For damage, that is 3, 4, 5. 5 points of damage. And then I will do another whip attack, which is another 16 plus 9 for another 3, 5, 6 points of damage.
Okay.
And as long as it can see me, it has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks.
All right.
Ooh.
You see all the leaves begin to shake a little bit in the canopy of this tree.
Nice.
It is the tree's turn. It is going to... What's the reach? Does it have a 10-foot? No, it only has a 5-foot reach. Okay. It is going to try to hit Sid. Because I don't think it can move closer to you, can it?
Nope.
Okay, so yeah, it's just going to try to hit Sid. Disadvantage, though.
Scary.
So that's going to be... With disadvantage, it's a 19 to hit.
Still hits.
Okay. So on the first hit, you take... Ooh, high roll. 20 points of damage.
Damn.
And for the second attack, another 19 total to hit.
Damn.
And that's going to be 18 points of damage.
Ouch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see this thing just boom right on top of Sid's shoulders, and he sinks like a good 6 inches into the dirt, and then boom again, and you can see some deformation on his chest plate as he's pushed another 6 inches. So he's like a good solid foot into the dirt at this point, and he is not looking hot. It is your turn.
My turn?
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking swinging back at this bitch.
Don't trip.
That's an 18.
18 hits.
And then that is a D8 plus 4. It's 10 points for the first attack.
10 points of damage.
And then a 22 to hit.
22 hits.
And an 11 for damage. Plus, I'm going to do Divine Smite.
Okay.
Which
So
is
11 points of damage, and then roll your Divine Smite separate.
2d8.
Ooh.
7 and 3. So
Elena,
10.
can you close?
So 10. It doesn't take quite as much radiant damage as you thought it was going to.
Oh, really? Oh.
Interesting.
Ooh.
Also, I realized something else that I should have done for Numot's attack. You hit it with a quarterstaff, right, Numot, the one time?
Yeah, I was just thinking it was just gonna bounce off.
Yeah, so that's something that I should have thought of before, or
So I
should
threw
have
my
seen
darts
before.
first.
I'm going to... Wait. So I'm going to second wind.
Okay.
I don't know where my D10 is.
Good idea.
I found it. That's 10... 1d10 plus 5, yeah. So that's 10 total points. And then I'm going to fucking send it. I'll action surge.
Okay.
That is a 15.
15 just misses.
And an 18.
18 hits. Oh wait, yeah, no. Cassian's not 5 feet in front of it. Okay.
That would be 7 additional points.
7 additional points of damage. And this isn't radiant, right? This is just slashing.
Regular. Yeah, regular.
Okay.
Whips out an axe out of nowhere.
Okay. That ends your turn.
Yes.
Kazir, you're up.
Okay, so Kazir is fairly hidden out in the woods, but if anyone is looking that way, you'll see him kind of hold his hands out in front of him, palms up to the sky, and slowly you'll see 6 meteors form in his hands and start spinning around in a circle above him.
Oh,
And
shit.
then 2 of those he will throw at the northernmost one.
Okay.
And that is a dex saving throw for those.
I think. Wait, is this minute meteors?
Yeah.
I believe you summon them and then you can send 1, correct?
You can
Probably.
throw 2 per turn.
Throw 2 per turn. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I'll throw them slightly above, not directly at.
I was like, don't they have an explosion radius?
Small, yeah. But yeah,
Okay.
Dex 15.
Dex 15. It's not super great at Dex. It rolls a 0.
Wait, what?
That's my third nat 1, but it has a -1.
Tree's so agile.
So that will be 5 fire damage.
Okay. You see it actually lean into the fire projectile. So that's going to be 10 points fire damage for the
so-
first one.
Then that will end my turn. And then my
Yeah.
little doggy dog.
Wait, what
he's
about
gonna
the
walk
second one?
over-
Yeah, you had the second one too, right? Or was that both?
I think that rolled both. Maybe I'm actually.
Oh, really?
No, you guys are right. Sick.
Yeah, I think there's a
Sick.
Not
second.
bad. Another 5.
Okay.
Mm.
So it does more damage than you think it's going to again.
All right, now the doggy dog is gonna walk up here to the top right, so we get that nice juicy flanking bonus. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
And we'll go for another bite.
Okay.
Has
Roll
advantage.
with a no. It doesn't have advantage. It just has a +6 instead of a +5.
Well, it has
No,
advantage
it
because
literally
of
has
its
a
own thing.
bonus.
Never
Yeah,
mind.
And
yeah.
then
All
it
right.
also
Okay.
has +1.
Sounds good.
First one was an 11, so that's probably not going to hit.
That misses.
And then a nat 20.
That 20 will hit.
Ooh. Really deep bite.
You want me to make a model thing for the doggy dog?
Yeah, that would be nice. So then that is
Shadow.
what, 4d6 plus 6 instead of 2d6 plus 3?
No, it's still plus 3,
Okay.
but it's 4d6 plus 3.
So that would be 20 points of damage.
20 points. What type of damage is it?
Piercing.
Piercing. It doesn't do as much as you think it's going to.
Right. And that will end the dog's turn. It's here.
Doggy dog.
Can you not move it?
Maybe I can. No.
Oh, let me see if I can give you.
Okay. Okay, does that end your turn, Kazu?
Yeah.
All right. You see a brash sort of, well, not all of you. Actually, you know what? I don't think anyone can really see a brash super well.
Tweezy face.
He's going to do a little thing here. He.
Full heals both trees.
Joe, try to move
Read
it
my
now.
mind. Vicar,
Yes.
you feel a pair of eyes on you,
Uh-oh.
but nothing happens. Numa, your turn.
Do I sense where from? Or just I feel like I'm being watched?
The feathers on the back of your neck stand up a little bit.
Mm,
10, 20, 30, 40.
It's crazy how you can just like move normal movement through difficult terrain and have it not be a problem.
Wait, could I actually take all my movement? Or are you just saying that because I have such high movement?
I was saying that because you have such high movement,
Oh,
you can
okay. I was
effectively
like, what
move
the
this.
fuck?
You can effectively move the same move speed because your movement speed is so high.
I will stop right there, continue to hide, and cast False Life on myself.
Okay. For the record, going forward, when you guys are obscured a little bit within the trees, I'm not going to give you disadvantages, but when you are so deeply nestled within a forest, it only makes sense to me that you would have a difficult time getting through all that to hit the target too. So, I'm not going to say this round, but round after next, you guys are going to have everyone else that you're trying to hit is going to have a +2 to their AC as long as you're deep in the forest.
okay.
Because that, it should go both ways.
If there's a lot of trees, you might not be able to see through.
Yeah, and I mean, if you just want to take pot shots at him and then you just have to get an additional 2 points higher to hit, I mean, these things' ACs aren't absurdly high. Alright, sorry, Newmont. What was the rest of your turn? You're just
That was
false
it.
lifing?
False
Okay.
Life and end my turn.
Alright, that's it. Kai, your turn.
Oh yeah, it's my turn. So I totally forgot this dog was here when I was doing breath attacks earlier, but I was standing next to it, ironically. So just really
It
quick.
moved afterwards.
Yes, I know. I was thankfully it was standing here, and I actually forgot that. But just for Jacob and your and I record, if I stand next to somebody, I'm not moving here, but if I stand next to them and do a line, obviously that wouldn't hit the doggy dog. But if I do a cone, would you think that would hit doggy dog?
I would say no.
Okay. Okay, I'm just making sure.
The idea is it starts from where your face is, and you could
Right.
always just like lean forward a little bit,
Oh fuck. I don't know how to get rid of that, but I'll do the same thing I did last time, and try to do some breath attacks next to the doggy dog, and the dog
Okay.
can move later.
So I have to roll a dex saving throw?
Yes. So the first one's a 14, and the second one's a 15. Where's the 10? I should know what these are.
Fails the first one. Go ahead and roll damage for that.
Can you occupy the same space as another creature?
If it's an ally and you are a size smaller or larger, then yes. But if
Okay.
you're the same size, no.
Got it.
So the first one total is a 9
9 points of what damage?
fire.
Fire? Okay. It does more than you think it's going to. And this tree that Abrash is in is looking pretty rough.
So the second one is a Dex 15, which is
Uh,
also fire. It's breathing fire
8.
everywhere.
It rolls a 16 minus 1, so 15.
Wow, bitch. So actually, I rolled really well with this one. I rolled a 2 8s. I rolled a 16.
Okay, 16, so halved, but then doubled again. So
Yep.
this thing is on its last legs. You can see, like, it's so badly scorched from Kazer's fire damage and your fire damage that it's starting to burn at the roots, and fire is making its way up. You can already see it licking the leaves at the top of the tree, and it looks concerned. You see Abrash is still in there, wide-eyed, but not out of fear, just kind of bemusement, curiosity, craziness. It's hard to put a finger on it.
So as my final piece, it's not gonna be anything crazy, but I'm just gonna do a unarmed strike as a second attack or a bonus action,
Okay.
and I'm gonna make it a fiery punch.
Okay.
And I rolled the 1, so I slapped myself in the face.
I'm gonna say that you make contact, but the thing's already starting to catch fire, so it doesn't spark the way you were hoping to.
Not very
just-
effective.
Yeah, weird. Yeah. And next up is going to be
Just so
Vicar.
you guys know,
Yeah.
with the hound as well, you can actually walk through it, but if you stay there, unexpected things may happen.
That's okay.
But it is like a ghost, basically, like a shadow form. So
So you're saying I should always end my turn on top of the dog?
okay, good talk, guys.
So question, if I wanted to look for the source of the eyes on me, would that take an action, or could I just like do that?
It depends on how. No, that's cheap to say. It depends on how well you roll. I'm gonna say you could use a bonus action to try to find out where the source of the eyes are coming from.
Okay, I would like to do that.
Okay, go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
I get a 23.
23. You get a pretty strong indication that it's coming from the tree that's on fire, but the person inside the tree, like, he has this extremely high perception, and it's like the eyes they seem to be following you even when he's not looking at you with this like crazy kind of wide-eyed stare.
Strange. All right. I am going to hop out of my cover, and I want to shoot an arrow at the Abrash tree as sneak attack.
Okay. Go ahead, and for sneak attack you roll advantage, correct? Or is it
No.
No, you just roll hit and then do damage. Okay.
Yes, 17 for a hit.
17 hits.
All right, so then we roll 2 plus 4 is 6, and then 7, 8, 14,
This is at the one that's right by Kai and
And,
Doggy Dog, right?
18. Yeah, 18.
Okay. How do you want to do this as your
Um,
arrow finds its mark?
I want to like maybe aim for one of the legs of the trees or like the roots, and at a part that's like smoldering and starting to come apart, and just completely sever it so that the tree crashes and we can get Abrash out.
Okay.
Timber.
So as your arrow finds its mark and severs this root that's kind of grounding the tree as it's kind of rocking back and forth, it also sparks against a stone, which is just enough extra fire to set this thing ablaze. And that ends your turn.
I will call out to Kai that we need to get a Brash out of there, and then I'll end my turn.
Okay. A Brash is going to take a legendary action.
Fuck does that mean?
We're fucked. That's what it means.
He casts Wish.
Not yet.
The tree disappeared. Holy shit.
You see, out of that little opening in the hole, a squirrel comes darting across, running through all of this difficult terrain as if it's nothing, and jumps its way right into a small little hole in this tree, down by Sid. Cassian, your turn.
Okay. Does the other tree still look combative?
The one tree that is right by Kai is down. It is smoldering and unconscious, or dead. This tree it's bloodied, but it is not down yet.
Right, but does it still... Did it notice that its other tree went down? It doesn't
Yeah, it was
still
hard
look
to
pissed?
miss. Yeah, it
Does
still
it
looks
still look-
pissed.
Okay.
It still looks like it's trying to fight.
All right, then I will take another 2 attacks at this motherfucker. 11 plus 9 for 20.
11, yeah, that's gonna hit.
Okay, that is for a 9 points of damage.
9 points of damage.
And then the second attack.
What kind of damage is that? Is that slashing or piercing?
It's.
I think it's slashing for a whip.
Yeah, slashing. Yeah, it's
Okay.
slashing.
All right. Yep. Does what you expect it to do.
And then a 19 plus 9. That's gonna hit.
Yep.
For 10 points of damage. I rolled higher that round.
10 points of damage. Yeah, this thing is looking pretty rough at this point. Does that end your turn?
Let me think.
Keep in mind you have an advantage on your attack rolls against this thing.
Oh, I did? Okay,
Yeah,
let's
well,
see if I
it's
roll-
frightened of you still.
Oh, yeah.
So let's count that as one attack. Do you want to roll 2 other d20 and see if you get a nat 20 out of it?
I just rolled 2 and I didn't get it, so we can just keep those if you want.
Yeah, that's fine. All right.
And then I will use action surge to go again.
Okay.
Remind me, Jacob. Action surge gives me 1 more additional attack, right? It doesn't like
No,
restart. my
it
turn.
resets all of your attacks. So
it does.
if you have 2 attacks, you get 2 attacks. If you have 5 attacks, it gives you 5 attacks.
Okay. All right. So that is 14 plus 9. I roll with advantage. Yeah, 14 plus 9, and then 11. Yep. So both attacks hit. That is 6 points of damage for the first attack, and 6 points of damage for the second attack.
So 12 total?
Yes, sir.
All right. This thing is single digits now. It is looking very rough. It's being like slashed and scraped and scratched. You see just chunks of it being hammered away like you guys are hitting it with an axe. And that ends your turn.
Yep.
This thing is not happy with you, but it can't move any closer, so I'm gonna roll.
No longer afraid. No longer afraid.
No longer afraid. Even better. It looks angry. Very, very angry. Let's see if it rolls high enough intelligence to do the funny thing I've been trying to do all combat. Yes, it does. What a thing to waste a nat 20 on. So he is going to let's see here. Yep. 28 hits you, Sid, right?
A 28
Yeah.
just misses.
Okay. So he's going to go, and you see you're still a foot in the ground.
Oh, wait.
The branches kind of come out around you and squeeze you. and then you hear like a satisfying sound as he's lifted up from the ground, and he reels his branch back and throws Sid at you, Cassian.
Oh, sick.
So now I'm going to roll again to see if this hits you. Does a 22 hit you?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Stop being so accurate, Sid.
So, I'm going to say that you guys split the damage of this, since he's taking one of you and throwing, and he's not just throwing a rock or something. So, you each take... Math, I'm trying to... half of what this number is. You each take 14 points of damage. That's the math.
14.
Yeah.
Yay.
And Sid, you are knocked prone.
Double yay.
Let's see Cassian if Cassian's knocked prone as well. No, Cassian is not knocked prone.
That's impressive.
Yeah, you just got hit in the face by your friend, and you kind of... Actually, you know what? roll strength saving throw for me, Cassian.
I'm sorry, man.
I mean, it's valid.
It is
Can I roll a
whole
dex
human.
save throw instead?
Yeah, you know what? Dex or strength. You either tank it or you try to dodge some of it.
I'm rolling it publicly. 21.
21. Okay, it hits you in the shoulder, and you definitely take some damage, but you kind of spin and then catch yourself as you're just about to fall over, and you stay on your feet. You see Sid sprawled out behind you. So, Sid, could you move yourself behind Cassian? I can't move you for some reason. Oh, that's why I was selected on the measuring tool. It could be right next to him. That's fine. Right next to him or right behind him. It's your choice.
Say over here.
Yeah, just chuck him into the forest. Man, that would have been funny. I should have done that with one of the monk characters. Okay, that is going to end its turn. Sid, you're up.
I'm gonna dust myself off real quick,
Okay.
and then
Half your movement to stand up.
that's fine. I goofed earlier, but I remembered. Hold on. How do I see? There we go. While wearing this, whenever I roll a hit die to regain double the hit points it restores. Okay. How much is a healing potion? Is an action or a bonus action?
It is rules as written as an action, but I'm gonna say healing potions are bonus actions. Regular potions are actions.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a potion of healing, which is 2d4 plus 2.
I think this thing is on its last legs.
Mm-hmm. Unless she's almost dead, then it's fair.
I ain't chancing nothing. I'm hurting.
You do got a
So that's
crossbow.
a 2d4. So the first one's a 3.
Oh, starting to feel better.
Second one's a 2, which is 5.
Plus 2, so
Plus
7.
2 is 7, and then I have the amulet of wound closure, which doubles that.
Oh, nice. All right.
I forgot that earlier, so that's 14. So that negates the damage he did.
How often does that work? Does that work just once per day, or can you
When
read
did
me what
you
that
get
does?
that?
Yeah.
I don't
while this
remember this.
While wearing this pendant, I stabilize whenever I'm dying at the start of my turn. In addition, whenever I roll a hit die to regain hit points.
That's the thing. So hit die would be for your action surge or for when you take a short rest. It's not for healing potions.
I see. So I'm just gonna
So
remove 7.
no, it's fine because you didn't do it when you action surged earlier. So that's fine. Double
I
it
see.
this time, and then going forward for your action surges,
I gotcha.
double that. Or not your action surge, your
The
second wind. Yeah.
All right.
That ends
And
your
then-
turn, or are you
No.
doing something else?
I need to move 5 feet, and then I'm gonna whack him.
Okay.
23.
23 will hit.
And that is is it plus 4? Yeah, 11 damage.
What kind of damage?
It's a longsword. What is that?
Slashing.
Slashing.
So how do you want to do this?
I'm gonna swing kind of like an uppercut style and cut off the arm it used to grab me. and then spin and swing below like the knee area and topple it down.
All right. That concludes phase 1 of this boss fight. Let's take a quick 5-minute break. Grab
Good thing
some.
you heal.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Fucking
Don't
like Dark
listen to me.
Yeah, that's the thing about crazy high wisdom characters. All right, so we'll be back here. Let's be back by 8:10 if possible.
All right.
Sounds good.
stuff when you want to have a high level mage or something have disadvantage on spell slave or disadvantage on saving throws. That's crazy good.
Doggy dog.
Yeah. So I mean, it was useful while it was there for sure.
That's cool though.
I'm just trying to save Scar because he was getting fucking. He's about to get 1v1 by a tree.
That's why I was like, I need to go over there now.
That's why I got the fuck away from that thing. I was not getting pounded in the ground again.
Okay. Josh, how quickly can you add a artwork to a thingy?
Pretty quickly.
Okay. So
Uh-huh.
I'm going to show you guys what he looks like.
Is it a squirrel?
This is what you see for a quick second before he turns into a squirrel, Kai, and then ran away. But as the tree person dies, you see from out of the tree sorry, give me a second here, I'm trying to find the thingy. A bear explode.
Oh my god.
I just need to pull up the stat sheet for it real quick.
Plenty of HP.
While I'm trying to do that, whose turn is it next?
That's a
Kazer,
good question.
it's your turn.
Okay. There's nothing on the map yet, though, right?
It is going. Josh, could you just throw a brash somewhere and I'll place him where he needs to be?
I'm pretty sure. Okay.
He's right by Sid. He's right here.
Oh yeah.
Jeez. Dang it, I forgot.
Okay. I guess I would just speak out to him. I'll try and use Old Elvish, even though it's probably the first time I've like actually spoke it. Say, I know what you've seen here may be contradictory, Abrash, but we do come in peace. We came to speak to you.
That's a lot of big words, my guy. This is a new language to you. I'm gonna need you to roll an intelligence check.
Seems fair.
Me say no fight. You say no.
Oh yeah, big smart. 15.
15. You get this bear kind of turns to you and kind of recognizes that you're trying to speak something that obviously he can understand, but there's something that's probably getting lost in translation with a 15. It's not contradictory is a pretty big word that you were like, wait, did I get that right or did I mess that up?
You say condiment? What?
Yeah, but you're kind of getting the gist. And just to give you like an idea, learning a new language does take a long time, and it has been quite a long time since you picked up the book. You've been studying, you've been translating for a while now,
Yeah,
but this
just
is your
haven't
first
spoken,
time.
really.
There's probably nuances, kind of like when you're trying to read Chinese, and
What did you
there's
say
all
about
different
the economy?
kinds. Yeah, exactly, all different kinds of accents and inflections that you might be missing there.
Does he like reply to that? How does that work? Do I have to end my turn to?
No, that wouldn't end your turn, but you don't. It kind of has this sense of recognition for a second, and I'm gonna say you get pieces of. Actually, you know what? He's a bear. Yeah, there's a roar in response. You can try to figure out what that means, or you can take your.
Maybe Numa could tell you.
What the hell? Okay.
Yeah, and this is a giant bear, by the way. You've never seen a bear this big before.
All right. Well, I'm out, guys. I'm going invisible.
Fair enough.
So you take your action to cast invisibility.
Yeah, I'm gonna just chill over here in the tree.
Fair enough.
Invisibility or greater invisibility?
I don't have greater invisibility, just invisibility.
Okay. That ends your turn.
Yeah.
It is his turn. One with its bite, two with its claws. Who's next to it? Cassian and Tony. He's gonna go for
Dude,
Cassian.
get out of there.
So this is 7.
So I think I go. Vicar goes.
Does a 16 hit Cassian?
It does not.
That is also going to miss Cassian then. And then does a... Damn, 3 whiffs. Low rolls. Tries to
Cassian's out
take
there dancing. He's bobbing and weaving.
tries to take all 3 of its attacks against you. And misses all of them.
Such a good song.
Newmont, your turn.
All right. I will go up here out of the bushes, and since we can't really talk, I will take off my mask, kind of whistle toward Brash, and just point toward my ears and see if that has any effect on him.
As you whistle, you see the bear kind of look in your direction, and you point to your ears. You see, even as a bear with some... The bear has gray in its fur, white in its fur, kind of like bushy grayish eyebrows, and even the eyebrows kind of like cocked up and crazy. And you can tell that it recognizes you, but it's kind of indifferent as to what you're gesturing your ears for.
Alright, hold on. Where did I just move from? 2040. I can't get all the way to it.
Can we communicate like that?
Oh yeah,
Huh?
the chat. I forgot about the chat. Oh, with the gifts.
The gifts.
Alright, well, if I sense that he didn't really get what I meant, I will chuck 2 darts at it.
Okay, go ahead and roll to attack.
Stupid.
18.
That is going to hit.
And that will be 6 points. And another 18.
That is also going to hit.
And that will be 7 points.
All right.
Oh, it's me.
Yes, it is you. But hang on a second.
You're good. You're good. Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
It is your turn.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. I am going to. Incapacitated is not the same thing as stunned, right?
No, they are 2 different things.
I should probably Google what those are.
If someone's
I-
incapacitated, it's kind of like being unconscious.
I'm thinking this is going on out of limb, but if I do a breath attack from right here, I'm assuming that's like too much cone.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they're probably gonna catch either Cassian or Sid from there.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that. Well, I'm gonna just double longsword this guy, and then, mm, interact with objects is like a free attack or free thing.
So if it's like closing a door or lighting a torch, something like that would be an interact with objects. Trying to get something from someone or rip something off someone is
Action.
more of an action.
I can do that. I can start off with a stunning strike,
Okay.
and then just see how we go from there. It's not like he has high wisdom or anything. I guess you know. I'm going to go with an icy cold backhand. See if it chills him down, Mr. Fuzzy Bear. So that's an 18 plus 5. That's not terrible. So it hits, I would assume.
18 plus 5 does hit.
And then he has to save. So why don't I have to land the hit? A DC con
make that
15. So
DC con, what was it again?
15. You know, it's not getting like plus 5 in
15
wisdom or anything.
plus 5, my boy.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Oh, wow. He rolls a 14. That is the lowest he can
shit.
roll.
Oh shit! You know what I'm gonna do, right?
You're gonna stun to strike him?
I stun strike him,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna try to take his thing.
Okay. You see Kai hit this bear in such a way that the bear kind of like freezes up for a second and then kind of curls up like a nerve shot of some kind and just tries rifling in the fur. Do an investigation check for me as you're trying to...
I'm so good at those. It's my thing. I got a 10. Minus 1 is a 9.
10. You're kind of connecting... whatever you're searching for probably isn't going to be on an animal form. When a brash morphed, everything he was carrying morphed with him. So, if you want to try to get something off of him, the best chance is when he's not in an animal form.
It's in his butt, isn't it? I knew it.
But
Alright, that's all I got. I take some action. He is stunned.
All right. Vicar, your turn. He's stunned.
Hey. I am going to queue up a Dragon's Bile. Yeah, wait, did no, that's metagaming. I shouldn't do that.
That's a bear.
You said that the lowest he can roll is a 14 on con.
No, on wisdom, but also
Oh,
let's
okay.
try not to metagame it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So I'm going to use it anyways, even though it is useless because of that. So I would use a Dragon's Bile arrow and try to sneak attack him.
Okay.
But
ahead
I
and
am
roll
going to
that.
use steady aim first, so I have advantage.
Okay, go ahead and roll with advantage.
All right, I got a 18.
18 hits. This thing is not hard to hit.
And then that is going to be a. So he has to roll a 12 con saving throw. Can he do it?
He's stunned.
Let's see.
He's
Can he?
stunned. Doesn't he automatically fail?
Oh, does he? Also, I rolled a natural 1, so...
Sick! Oh my god.
That's the only
Alright.
way I can. That's one of the things. I googled this.
6.
I think he actually.
I
does.
googled this.
I was like, how do I make him actually land my shit?
7, 8. Okay, so question about the so he fails. Is that what
Okay.
happens?
I'm pretty
Yes,
sure.
he fails.
Okay.
Even if he could roll, he rolled a nat 1, so he fails.
So he would take 2d6 acid damage and has disadvantage on strength-based saving throws and ability checks for the next minute. So
Okay.
does the 2d6 get amplified in the crit?
Yes, any
my
dice
God.
damage gets amplified.
Okay. 6, 7, 13, 18, 19, 20, and then I have to roll 8 more d6.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Also, just,
That's my
22,
rogue,
just
baby.
for future reference, Jacob,
23,
I partially remembered it wrong. It's strength
28.
and dex only
Okay.
that it auto fails.
29, and then 4 more. 30, 33, 39, 43.
Okay. Hang on.
That's my burb.
Oh my god, I cannot spell. There we go. So you hit this bear hard enough with a single blow that the bear form shrinks back down, and you see a Brash with an arrow. Never mind. I read your message that you sent to Alwyn as like a direct message to me. That was my bad.
okay, got it.
Ignore that. Ignore
Yeah,
that. Yeah. So you see, he holds his shoulder with an arrow in it, and then just kind of rips the arrow out and looks in your direction.
Mhm.
Does that end your turn?
I'm going to call out to Abrash and say his name, Abrash, snap out of it. We're here to help.
Is that uncommon?
Yeah. You hear the name of Brash again, and he looks at you even more interested. He is going to use... That ends your turns, right?
Yes.
Okay. He is going to use a legendary action, and I have a dice roll to make here to see what he does next. Un momento, por favor.
What is the legendary action?
Yes.
So, legendary creatures get a certain number of legendary actions they can take in between characters' turns. It justifies having one person you're fighting, but balancing the encounter a little bit more.
I see.
So he can take certain actions in between character turns. But the way I've designed his stat block is I can explain it once this combat's over because I don't want to
No, that makes sense.
metagame it right now. Un momento. Sorry about this, boys. You see he pulls the arrow out, looks crazy at Vicar, and then looks at everybody surrounding him, and he plants his two fists into the ground, and you can see him getting hairier and bigger and scarier, and becomes pretty goddamn huge. You see in front of you a giant ape.
What? Now he's a monkey?
Now he is monkey. And that is going to end his legendary action. Cassian, what do you do?
I'm going to, with my offhand, reach behind me, behind my cloak, and pull out the Whip of Command and crack it over Abrash's head. And I will see if that hits first before I do anything.
Okay, go ahead and roll to hit.
This is gonna hurt.
Let me. I have to pull the stat block for Whip of Command because I don't remember what the bonuses are.
Okay.
Just I'm remembering this. Let me check on it. The dragon's bile has a minor detrimental. from when I made it.
What does that mean?
Ooh.
So
Okay.
do with that as you wish.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because I didn't do a minor detrimental table for poison specifically.
Yeah.
What are the effects of the poison? What does it do?
It says that target takes 2d6 acid damage and has disadvantage on strength-based saving throws and ability checks for 1 minute. The target can re-roll the saving throw at the end of each of their turns.
Roll a d6 for me.
Okay. I get a 1.
You get 1 point of damage taken to you as you try to apply this to your thing. The vial is a little bit cracked and some gets on you.
Got it.
For poisons and potions, it's not as bad. 20 to hit or 24? 25. Yes, 25 hits.
Okay, I will hit him with the Whip of Command, and for my command, we'll see how the D&D likes, the Dungeon Master likes this. I will command him to dismiss his wild shape.
That is very interesting. With the new rules, they did away with creative wording. You can only use specific words, but I don't like that. I like being able to be creative. Dismiss. There is a problem with that. He doesn't speak common.
Ah.
Waiting for that.
So, I'm going to roll an intelligence check for him. You roll a persuasion or intimidation for me, and I'll roll an intelligence for him to see if he can kind of put the two together.
Okay.
What did you call me?
Oh, you're gonna have to roll really well.
I rolled a 26.
26. He rolled a 0. Was it a nat 20?
No, it was an 18 plus 8.
Okay, I'm gonna say with a 0, it's really close. He's almost putting it together. Maybe another hit and he'd probably understand. That was a really cool attempt, but a 0 is just too hard to justify him connecting that with a language he doesn't know.
Yep, no problem.
Too crazy.
Okay.
Mad about something.
I
All right.
will take my second attack with the Whip of Command, and I
Okay.
will see if that hits. Let's see. That is a 17 plus 8.
All right, that's gonna hit. You gonna try again?
I will command him, and Cassian lowers his voice a little bit and growls as he says, "Dismiss again."
All right. I need to. Do I need to roll a saving throw for command?
Yes, it is a 14. It's not super high.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, let's piece together the. See if he connects it.
Okay.
We'll keep your. Oh my god! I rolled a nat 1 for a -1 intelligence this time.
Sick.
So
This
he is
guy
not getting the message.
retarded.
Okay, he's wise. Intelligence is different. Yeah.
Okay, this guy dumb as hell.
Gotta
Not
slow
quite,
it
but
down. Dis.
Even with a. You're cracking this thing. You're like, even if he was able to understand me, the odds of a druid being able to do wisdom things is pretty high.
Yeah,
So-
it was a shot in the dark. I thought I'd give it a try.
It was a really cool idea, but he's just a little bit too dumb to get the message.
Okay.
Ooh, ooh.
Okay.
He does take damage from both of these.
Okay, go
Um,
ahead and give me that.
Let me look at the stat block again. Bum, 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 bada, bada, bum. It's not great. It's 5 points of damage for the first one, and 2 points of damage for the second one, because it's a normal ass whip.
Okay.
Oh,
Wait, you get 2d4. Keep in
Well,
mind.
no, the whip of command is just a 1d4.
Oh, you didn't combine them?
No, I haven't combined them. No.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah, you do some damage, but there's not a lot being done there. Does that end your turn?
worth a try.
That unfortunately ends my turn.
Okay, Sid, your turn.
I'm going to stab my sword in the ground and kneel with my hands up and kind of like bow my head before him.
What?
Monkey
And-
King.
Okay. Does that end your turn?
No, I'm gauging his reaction.
Oh. He looks like he's about to throw you.
I don't think it worked.
Not again.
Do something else.
Hoping that would show that we don't want to fight, but since he doesn't want to bite, I too can get big, and I'm gonna change state.
As you're doing that, do either a perception or an insight check for me.
They both suck. So let's see.
While you're doing that, Sid, real quick, DM, what are your rules on speaking to your party members in between turns? Are we allowed to
You-
do that or no?
You got
4
six
Something like that.
seconds to say what you're gonna say per round. If it's give or take. If you're talking for a whole minute, that's a hell no. But if it goes a little bit longer, that's fine.
Okay, so Cassian looks to Kai and he goes, Kai, the cube.
Dire, who's trying that?
I rolled a 7.
You rolled a 7. Yep, nope, nothing's connecting in your little head of yours.
We're all dumb today.
So you trying to hit this thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab the sword from the ground and swing.
Okay. Go ahead and roll to attack.
12 plus 7, which is 19.
19 hits.
That is a 4 plus 4, which is 8.
8 points of damage.
And I'll swing again. For 20. Dirty.
That hits.
And 8 plus 4 is 12.
Quick maths.
Okay. Does that end your turn?
Yes.
Kazer, you're up. You see a rather large ape in front of your 3 companions there.
Yeah, I'll use Quicken Spell to cast Message on a Brash. And I'll say, like really broken Elvish, but a Brash, we come peace. A Brash, we come to talk. Can I say that, or is that?
Yeah, go ahead and roll an intelligence check for me as you're trying to get your way through this. This is a simpler message, so the DC's lower.
Nat 20, baby.
Nat 20.
Yeah.
That's 3 this encounter. That's crazy.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right. You can see that finally something seems to be getting through. He looks confused. The ape just looks at you and kind of like going from the whole like dominant ape pose.
He
kind
can't
of like
see me because I'm invisible, unless he has something I don't know about.
Oh, then he's looking around like he's trying to find out where this is coming from, and he shakes his head and he's like, "Oh wait, no, you cast a message, you cast a spell,
Yeah,
so
it
your
did, his
invisibility's
head.
gone. Your invisibility's
Oh.
gone if you cast a spell."
Is that how that works?
Yep.
I was like taking an attack on someone.
Nope, it's if you attack someone or if you cast a spell.
Oh, okay, that's fine then.
So he does look at you when that happens, but it's still in his head, and he's shaking his head like something is wrong, and you see his eyes are still going crazy. With a nat 20, he looks very confused. The message obviously was received, but you're kind of thinking maybe there's something else going on inside his head. Maybe it's not just your voice that's talking to him. So you've confused him sufficiently. He doesn't look immediately hostile right now. That's your bonus action and action to send... Oh, wait, no, that was your bonus action. You want to use your action?
Bonus action. Yeah, I have a question for you. For one, can I use... I used a meta magic on a... to get that as a bonus action. Could I then use a meta magic on my action?
You can only use one meta magic per turn, unless if otherwise specified. There are some that say you can use it within the same turn.
Okay.
I believe that's how that works. If you find something in the notes telling me otherwise, but I believe that's how that works.
Yeah, it doesn't really say either way. I don't really want to attack him, to be honest. I guess I'll speak out to Cassian, and I'll be like, Cassian, dismiss, and then I'll say dismiss again in Old Elvish.
Very clever. Cassian.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna need you to... What would be a roll to try to make sure you can replicate that? The mouth movements are complicated for Old
Well, that's
Elvish.
Dex for sure. That's very dexterous.
I would say that's more charisma. So
I would like Dex for his sake, but it's probably performance, no?
you know what? Performance is a good one. So if you want to try again on your turn, you could try using a performance check to.
Fuck. Okay.
If you want to try, you don't have to. It's your choice.
I use acrobatics to speak Old Elvish.
Yeah, nice try. Alright. That ends your turn. It is Abrash's turn, and he just looks confused right now, and he holds his head and starts shaking his head back and forth like there's more going on, like what you did didn't help, didn't hurt. Something else is going on. At least he's not trying to swing at one of you right now. Numa.
As I heard Cassian kind of giving Kai the advice, I would just look at Kai as well and say The cube. The cube.
That's
And
what's
end my
causing the
turn.
problems. I can't give him the cube.
You can show him the
You can
cube.
show him
I'm
it.
gonna try to, and then if he gets very hostile and tries to take it, that's another thing. It could go the other way.
Okay. Does that end your turn, Newmont?
Yes.
Kai, what
Just
are you
to
doing?
be safe, I would just spend a key point and take patient defense.
Okay. What are you doing, Kai?
Okay. So I'm not good at persuasion, and I'm not gonna try to replicate dismiss. But I'm gonna say in Elvish, hoping he understands it. And I'm gonna take out the cube, as it's probably vibrating very close to him as I was looking for him. Yes, he's a giant monkey, so I'm kind of like hold it up, be like, peace. And that's as best as I can.
The ape is current. Roll a persuasion check with disadvantage because he still has his eyes closed, shaking his head. So you're trying to shock him out of it and get him to pay attention to you.
I forgot to use this earlier, but we'll see if I need it. I probably will because it's disadvantage. Oh, I got a 20. Oh wow, come on, fuck you. I got a 5. Hold on, I gotta use my ability. Since I'm a draconic, and because draconics are totally good at talking to people. Where is it? Limited use. Where the fuck is it? So okay.
Dave is locked the fuck in right now. Let's go, Dave.
So it's called. Why the fuck can't I find it? All right, let's go through the whole thing. So since I'm draconic, it's called like draconic. Ah, fuck. I don't know why I can't find it. It's like draconic language or like. Why the fuck? I have too many fucking abilities.
Should be under features and traits.
That's where I'm in.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna go under limited use, and it should be under there. Yeah, so it's under reactions. That's the problem.
Gotcha.
So it's called Draconic Presence. If you fail a Cha, intimidation or persuasion check, you can use your reaction to reroll the check. Once this feature fails, once this turns into a failure, or once this failure turns into a success, I can't do it again until a long rest.
Okay.
So I'm gonna turn
Go
a
ahead
5
and-
into a hopefully something that's not a 5.
Okay, go
It's
for
an
it.
18.
18. You kind of
Nothing.
shake him out of it enough where his eyes lock onto you,
Cube.
and then lock onto the cube, and the expression changes. You're not really sure how. You could try to decipher it if you wanted to, but you're not sure how the expression changes. But he's no longer shaking his head, and he's kind of frozen in place.
I'd like to decipher what's going on with his face.
Roll an insight check trying to read his emotions as a giant ape. It's going to be a little tricky.
I mean, they have great. Where's my insight? Is insight wisdom?
Insight is wisdom.
That's what I thought, and I'm like, I can't find it. I got a 7, and that's a 7 plus 4.
Okay. The ape, you're not used to reading a monkey feature, so it's a bit tricky for you. Does that end your turn, or are you
Monkey
trying
is
to do
monkey.
something else?
I'm gonna patient defense, anticipating I'm gonna get smacked in the face later.
Okay.
I don't have many of these.
Is everybody kind of just waiting and holding their breath, or do you guys want to try to do something on your turns? Because we can just skip back to the monkey's turn, or we can go turn by turn.
Cassie, are you gonna try?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and command him again.
So next up is Vicar. Vicar, do you want to do anything, or are you just kind of chilling?
I will chill, I guess, unless what can I make a read on the situation?
You are very far away through a bunch of trees and bushes right now. It is hard to read anything.
Okay, then I'll just pass.
Cassian.
Okay, whip a command.
Okay. Roll
Actually, can I
perform-
ready an action if he
Ooh.
like?
if he attacks someone?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, nope, that's easy enough done. Go ahead, Cassian, and roll a performance check for me as you're cracking the whip. It's pretty easy.
Okay. I got a 15 plus 3 for an 18.
Oh, easy. The pronunciation, based as far as you can tell off of Kazer's maybe correct pronunciation, spot on. Go ahead. I guess I need to roll a saving throw, or do you need to roll to actually hit first?
That was to hit.
That was to hit. That wasn't your
Yeah.
performance check? Okay.
Oh, okay. Maybe I misunderstood. I rolled a 15 to hit. That was my initial roll. So that would be a 15 plus 8 to hit. Now I can roll the performance check on top of that. If that's
Yeah, roll the performance
Okay,
check
okay.
now. It's pretty easy.
Okay, that is an 18 plus 3. It's actually higher.
Great. Yeah, even as far as you know, it might even be better than Kazer's pronunciation.
Somehow.
Okay.
And then I need to roll a what for the wisdom saving throw?
It's only a 14. It's not great. He
Right,
might get it
well-
on a 0, bro.
Well, that is like my 6th nat 1 of the night.
Oh
Hell
my
yeah.
lord.
Wow.
It is just I think it was like a nat 1 or a nat 2 would have been the only things that would have failed that. Yeah. Okay, so you say dismiss in ancient Elvish, and as you crack the ape with this, his eyesight goes from Kai and then the cube to you, and immediately he shrinks back.
Get out of here, woman.
Jesus Christ.
Ooh.
It's got a $16,000 bill from my hospital for the visit that I had.
Jesus.
America.
Yeah,
That's actually fucked.
we'll see what the insurance has to say about that. So you crack the giant ape, say dismiss, and you see a brash form. The ape form shrinks back down, and he's just standing there, and he looks at the cube, then he looks back at Cassian. Does that end your turn?
But Cassian immediately puts his hands up and drops the whip.
Okay. I'm gonna say you you just hit him. He's gonna try to. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. He's going to try to. He knows kind of what your intent is, but he's crazy. So,
Yep.
odds or evens? Let's see what happens. Okay, he is currently not appearing to be hostile, but he is breathing heavy. He looks like he's, I don't know, if I had to put it at a guess, almost done phase 2 of a boss fight. There is a potential here to maybe turn the tide, but it is hairy.
Before Cassian ends his turn, he'll drop the whip, hands are in the air, and he'll just say, "Alwyn sent us." Alwyn, and he'll say again, "Alwyn," loudly.
The eyes are wide and crazy, and you see him start talking to what looks to be like nothing next to him. Kazer, go ahead and roll an intelligence check for me.
15.
15.
Big boy.
You can make out enough words to kind of string together Alwyn. Why is he talking to you? And that's kind of the consensus, but he's talking to air next to him.
Okay.
Does that end your turn, Cassian?
Ends my turn.
Sid, your turn.
He's in attack mode still, or he's in not attack mode?
It is like hair trigger right now. He's not immediately attacking anybody, But this is kind of like if you wanted to get a quick hit in, this is a good way to do it. And if you'd make a wrong move, you might put yourself in a bad situation.
So backing away is an opportunity attack still.
He's kind of you wouldn't know. He is batshit crazy right now. You are completely unsure if he would try to attack you if you walk away, if he would just let you go. You don't know.
You want a stun?
I'm trying to think like if I don't want to like metagame anything here, but if we were to subdue him, he could still like transform into a squirrel and get away. So I don't want to attempt that. So I think I'm gonna chance like the disengage here and try and
You could just use disengage, no?
As your action, you could if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Can I re-enter combat afterwards, like next turn, or is
Yeah,
there,
on your next turn, you
Yeah,
could.
yeah.
It's just like I use my action to not be hit and step away. That's all
Yeah.
you're doing.
That's what I'm gonna do. Is just step back.
Okay, I'm going to describe your disengage as like a very careful creep, tiptoe backwards, and you're trying not to step on any branches or anything, because he's literally just talking to space next to him, so you can kind of try to get out of the way while he's not focusing or not looking at you.
Mind you, I'm still in my changed form, so this is giant behemoth fucking.
It's a disengage, so I'm gonna say that for the sake of comedy and for the sake of how the game works, it's a giant, huge symbiote-like creature just tiptoeing backwards, fairly quietly. Kaiser, your turn.
Okay. I'll say to a Brash, Alan sent us. Alan can help you. And see if he replies to that or if he speaks again.
He looks at you, then he looks at the space next to him, and he asks, you can do an intelligence check for me real quick. This is pretty easy.
How easy?
Oh.
It's not horrible, but
Not
like,
horrible. These are pretty easy words. He sent you? Or, sorry, you sent them. He talks to the thing next to him.
Is he saying anything back?
I guess I'd shout to Newmont. Like, Newmont, you need to leave. We need to call Alan here. I don't know. Can Vicar use the sending stone multiple times?
Just once.
Only once
But
per day.
I can back up and get distance so Alan knows where we are.
Well, Newmont has it
Didn't
on.
Yeah, but I could just back up like so
think
they
you're
only
gonna
know
have
where I am.
I have. I could go along the path and might be. 120 is going to be tough.
Yeah.
To get.
Okay.
If you could get to there, I could get 120 another direction.
Yeah. Yeah, I
you
could
just
definitely
go
get to there.
60 in opposite directions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
In common, I will ask the group, should I try and hold him?
That only lasts a minute, right?
Yes.
Or does not last that long. I wouldn't know what it's a minute.
If you hold them for a minute, it gives us time to get separated, so Owen can come and maybe make a presence.
Could help. Could make this really bad. Just
It
figured
seems
I'd
like
put it
he's
out there.
talking to Alan anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this is more than 6 seconds of dialogue and conversation
Yeah.
in between turns here. So we're gonna move on.
It's not in between turns. It is literally my turn.
It is your turn, but it's been more than 6 seconds, and it's 6 seconds a turn. And this has been going on for a little while, where you guys are trying to figure out what's going on. Does that end your turn, Kazer?
I don't know. I guess I'll just hold him then. Maybe no. I'll just end my turn.
End your turn.
Yeah.
It's his turn. I'm gonna roll for crazy, see what happens, odd or evens.
He turns into a rhino this time.
Okay. You can see that the argument is getting pretty heated between him and Air.
Oh.
Things are not going well, and probably is going to do something pretty soon here. Numa.
Alright, I'll kind of just listen to Kazir and kind of look down at the medallion I have on and just run as far away from the party as possible. And use a key point and dash.
Oh my god, I didn't know you could get that far.
Yeah, you can.
That,
How far away are you?
Hold on, let me see how far I just moved. So that would be
And I'm assuming you're trying to get as far away from the last
50.
party member as you can.
Yeah, probably from me.
Yeah, so you don't have to go down if it's quicker for you to go up, and even if it goes off the map, you know, like...
Well, I went to the path first because difficult terrain.
Gotcha.
You could have gone this way.
Yeah, that might be easier.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, just do that. How far can you run? 100 feet?
50 feet, and then I will dash.
Is that
100 feet.
That's absurd.
So, Numot is currently 100 feet away.
Hi, guys.
120 would, yeah, that would do it.
He's
130 feet away from Vicar.
That's only 85 feet. I don't think I could go any more on the screen.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
no,
think
it
for all
would-
intents and
it
It would
purposes-
count. It
For
would
our
count.
for our head count, we know that you're 100 feet away from the party.
Well, he's 120. If he has more movement speed here, he's already 115. If he has 5 more off the map.
Yeah, I
He's
have 20
one.
more feet of movement.
Keep in mind, you're doing a straight line through difficult terrain there, so he has to go along
No, I
the
went
path.
along the path.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went like that, but I'm saying from me, in a diameter, he would be 150.
It's from the closest party member, so...
Well, it wouldn't.
Well,
wouldn't
actually,
I
no, it'd be from the furthest party member. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. So,
So Alwyn would know where I am, but not where anyone else is.
okay.
Assuming he's watching.
Kai.
Well, as developments are approaching, Kai
That
sees.
movement speed is crazy.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh my god.
If only I wasn't a fighter. Kai sees a moment of opportunity, and it'd be a lot easier if I punched him first, though.
You see that Abrash is very invested in this conversation he's having with nobody.
Sorry, I'm trying to debate if I should punch him first or not.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Where are you? Where are you? Hold on. Limited use. DC 14 con. DC 15. I'm not gonna try to punch him. I don't want to instigate it further, but I'm just gonna try and take it.
Take what?
The,
You see, almost in slow motion, everyone's holding their breath. Numot is dashing faster than you've ever seen him go before, like a bullet, away from the rest of you. Everyone's bated breath with this conversation happening between Abrash and nobody. And in this moment of hesitation, Kai reaches out, grabs a satchel on Abrash, shoves his hand in, pulls out what looks like a small piece of wood, and a shockwave hits. There is a massive ripple, and everybody is knocked 20 feet away from Kai. So, Everyone just kind of move yourself out in like a circular.
And you too, Scott.
I just hear a
and-
whoop, poof.
A brash. Yeah, no, it's more than a poof poof. It is like basically an explosion, but without an explosion. It's
Boom.
it is a massive shockwave, like someone just broke the sound barrier. And you see a brash, his eyes, as he's been thrown back now on his back, he sits up and his eyes are huge and crazy. And Kai, you're holding both of these pieces in your hand, and you feel this sort of surge rush through you. And Numot, just as you run past the barrier, the shockwave goes off almost at exactly the same time. You hear another crack, and then a ripple, and then a golden arch appears just behind Vicar, and Alwyn steps out.
Alwyn rolls for initiative. Let's want to know.
I'm going to say that is unnecessary at this point. Vicar, he is right beside you. Roll an insight check for me as you see him walk through.
All right. 7.
7. He is as hard to read as ever.
I mean, I'm on the ground.
Yeah, you're on the ground. He does not look at all surprised by that.
Oh, fuck you, Alwyn. As I stand up, I'm gonna grab him with my dirty hands.
Well, you tried to, and as you like reach up to try to grab him, you see that he teleports, and he is another golden arch. Now that he can actually see what's going on, another golden arch appears directly behind Kai. And Kai, you can feel a hand on your shoulder as Alwyn rips you around, and he says, "What happened?"
I got it.
Are you holding both pieces?
Holy shit!
Are you just holding him up like this, like a proud little
Those
schoolgirl?
are your last words. I hope you know that.
I got it. Oh fuck!
Yep.
He looks at you, is very hard to read. Go ahead and roll an insight check just to see if you can actually, because you're right next to him.
14.
14.
Yeah.
Hard to read. Another golden arch appears as he spreads his fingers, and you see like the crackling around it, and he says, "Everyone in now."
And where?
Do I see this?
Yeah. No, you
wanders the forest for 40 days and 40 nights.
No, this explosion was enough to turn your head around. Actually, it still caught you in your back as you're running away, even 120 feet away. It hit you in the back and knocked you forward onto your face a little bit. So you see this golden arch appear. You know it's Alwyn. You've only ever seen this flavor of teleportation magic from him. And you see all of your ally. I'm assuming the rest of you guys are wait for me, trying to start going through.
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, we'll go.
So one by one, all of you come. Alwyn waits for you, Numot, to get through. And then he steps in and closes the portal behind him, and you find yourself in his office again. Familiar space to you by this point.
Did we bring a brush?
He brought a brush.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Just left them there.
Yeah. No, a brush is looking at Alwyn very, like, wide-eyed and strange. Kind of like,
Like a
just
Jack
crazy.
Sparrow.
Yeah, kind of. But he's more like on all fours. He's not like on all fours, sort of like the picture that I sent of what he looks like, but not angry looking. He's just like
Animalistic.
Yeah, very, very animalistic. Abrash looks at the rest of you as I'm getting the study set up. There we go. Looks at the rest of you and says, What happened? What went wrong?"
Nothing's gone wrong. It's a Brash. He doesn't seem like he's here. He spent.
No. I'm not talking about a Brash. Why did you give me that? And he points to the piece of wood in your hand, Kai.
I hesitates.
Yeah, you do hesitate.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel it. Do roll a strength saving throw for me.
I'm actually kind of good at those. I got a 20. Dirty 20.
Hell yeah, Kai.
Yeah, you feel it ripped out of your palm, no problem. And Alwyn holds the one piece, and then you see him hold his necklace, which you now know to be the guard.
He's not allowed to touch them.
Yeah. Well, it's a little bit late for that, isn't it?
I didn't have a pact. You would have pact.
What I told you was if any one person held more than one piece, everyone who held a piece would know that the item was about to be assembled. That was the failsafe we put in place. I know. Lysander knows.
Brash knows.
Do they know where all the pieces are?
I don't think so. They just know that it's about to be assembled.
Well,
You
I
see,
think now's probably a good time
Oops.
to tell you, Alwyn, that Lysander has been able to find me wherever I am, no matter what. I've spoken with him twice already. Even with your.
You didn't think to tell me about this sooner? I gave you a way to tell me if anything important happened, and you didn't think that him reaching out to you would be something that was worth telling me about.
Well, to be fair, we haven't been able to have a session in like 2.5 weeks, so it's not like we've been able to like get in the same room and talk about it.
A session? What is that?
We haven't exactly had a good fucking opportunity to speak as a group. We've been running, and maybe that was an oversight on my part, but he's using that silver tongue that you warned us about. I'll tell you that much.
What did he say to you?
He offered me an opportunity to gain power in exchange for helping him achieve his goal.
What kind of power, and how did he want you to achieve his goal?
I'm not sure what kind of power exactly, but he would be able to bolster my fighting ability and my ability to survive in battle in exchange for moving Norhaven from where it currently is to a new place.
Why does he want to move Norhaven? I mean, I guess that makes sense in terms of why he was trying to poison a city. It didn't seem like him. Still doesn't. Why was he trying to move an entire city? What purpose does that have?
Well, he loves to leave out details to make his proposition sound better, so your guess is as good as mine, to be honest. It seemed pretty important for his end goal, though.
Yeah, I think he may be doing it because he needs the area near Norhaven to try to get Arvander back open as he once did before.
He didn't get Arvander open. He blew a hole through dimensions and wiped out an entire race, or damn near wiped out an entire race, and caused millions of lives to be lost. Oh my god. He wanted Norhaven moved because that is his fallout radius. He's planning on doing it again as soon as possible, and he wants to minimize casualties, I guess, is his sick way of looking at things. Well, now he knows. Now he knows that it 2 of the pieces have come in contact with the same person, and I know that he's going to think that it's me. He is going to start putting things in motion now. It's...
Can't we just separate the pieces?
doesn't work like that. The pieces aren't even combined at the moment, if you haven't noticed. And he
I mean,
holds up.
in proximity to one another.
The damage is done. At this point, the contract has been broken. Lysander is free to pursue whatever goals he wants to. I mean, there's... And he, like, pinches his brow, and you see a Brash takes his foot and starts scraping his elf ear. And, Alwyn takes a look at him, and he goes, this... I can fix him.
I'm confused. Didn't you send us to find this piece?
No, I sent you to see if you could find a Brash because you had questions that my answers weren't good enough. So you wanted another opinion. And I said,
Well, he
well,
turned into an ape and tried to fucking eat us.
well, I said that he might not even be alive, so he is, I guess, in some ways. But I did also tell you about the pieces and how important it was that it doesn't matter at this point. I've got to think. There's so many things that can go wrong now. So many things that will go wrong. Kai, I have sent legions of my men from various kingdoms to aid in your fight. I need to know Lysander's movements. I need to know what's going on, and I need to know how big of an army he's going to be assembling for an attack on our kingdom. I think that his focus is going to shift from your kingdom to mine.
It's pretty far.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be a quick
Mhm.
thing, but the more time I have to think about this, the better. So I need to know things as quick as possible. And he's just like completely lost in thought, trying to... You can basically see all of the different plans he's trying to come up with, all of the different contingencies to those plans, just like lost in his own mind, trying to think things through.
I don't know any of that at this point. I just know I really needed to touch that Brash artifact for some reason. You never get those urges? You just like really need it?
What,
All the time.
Hmm.
Like
what do you
cube?
What do you mean you needed to?
I don't know. It was just like, all right, really. It's like, I could have it back if you don't mind, you know.
He looks at the cube and kind of like just turns it back and forth in his hand. Actually, you know what? He never got the cube from you. He
That's
got
what I'm
the
holding.
wooden piece. Yeah, you're holding the cube. He takes a look at the cube from behind his desk, and he's still holding on to the wooden part, and he has his guard. He walks over to you, and as you're still holding it, he just kind of takes a close look. And you've never seen... Actually, only one of you have ever seen Alwyn look so curious, and visibly so. And Sid, this is a familiar look to you. You saw him looking at you like this when he was studying your symbiote. It is an analytical sort of gaze that he gets lost in for several minutes. Do any of you interrupt or say anything or talk amongst yourselves while he's just seemingly lost in looking at this thing? Or do you just let him go?
We're gonna just kind of turn it, give him different angles.
Okay, no one's saying anything, so I'm assuming you just let him go. He pokes the cube, and nothing happens. And he holds out his hand like he wants to get it from you for a second, Kai.
I hesitate. I would assume, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you're hesitating. Until something itches in the back of your mind, and you're like, You know, maybe I should let this go. Maybe I should change hands. And you're thinking almost as if you are the cube for a second.
He's like, "You're right. This feels better."
And Alwyn kind of looks at the cube and analyzes it more closely. You see him cast a whole number of spells on it. And he just looks confused and then hands it back to you. I don't know what you mean in terms of you needed to take it. You felt an urge to take that piece.
Not at first. You want it back? Actually, you can hold it if you want. It's...
Now that it's back in your hands, you want it.
No, fuck.
You want it.
Okay. And I was like, yeah, you know, it's just, yeah, it's nice, isn't it? It's precious.
That's interesting. That gives me something to work with. Okay. Can I be assured that you are not siding with Lysander at this point in his hell-bent destruction of our plane?
Side with the cube. I have no idea what that means either. It's just it told me to say that.
You
Hmm?
Okay. Here's what I need. Here's what's going to happen. I should say it that way. There is almost 100% certainty that there is going to be a war that has not been seen on this material plane. A war the likes of which has not been seen on this material plane for at least 10,000 years. I need to be very well prepared and very well informed. I need all the men and all the resources that I can get. I need as much unity as possible, and I would really appreciate it if you could help with that, because I guarantee Lysander's putting together an army if he hasn't got one already.
I may side with this cube, but I always side with my people. If I can help my people, I'll always help my people.
Okay.
I'm not gonna just side with the guy who's trying to kill all my families. That would be kind of not that dumb.
Lysander is no patron of mine either.
He looks at you very intensely for a moment, Cassian. Roll an insight check to see if you're lying. I know you're well, you roll persuasion or deception, either one, Cassian.
Can I choose to be very transparent?
You can choose to be very transparent, and he looks at you up and down, looks at you very intently, then goes, "That's good to hear. I have no doubt that he will be using underhanded tactics to try to turn the tides of this war. Maybe even stop it before it happens. Cassian, what do you think about Norhaven being able to help? If there is to be a war that could potentially end this whole plane and many others."
It's not my decision to make, but if I had to guess what would be said around the table, more than likely you have our support. I do have some rather primitive concerns about my own people and what's to come for Norhaven specifically, but there's a bigger picture being painted here.
All right. Okay. And Kai, you said your people would be willing to lend aid, potentially?
I mean, my people are willing to lend aid to fight the people they're already fighting? Yes.
Well, it would need to be under new management, as it were.
They could use some help, I'd imagine.
All right, they might need some convincing. I am not as
I'm not-
good with
Same.
that. Yeah, I can force people to do things, but doing the polite route isn't always my way. It ends up taking too long. Okay. All right. Well, let's fix him. And he turns to Abrash and walks over with a diamond that you, Vicar. First glance, you easily know this diamond's worth 500 gold pieces. He places it on Abrash's head, and you see the diamond shatters and then kind of goes into different parts of his body. And Abrash, his eyes get less crazy, less wild, still a little chaotic, and he straightens up with a little bit of a hunch. He looks extremely fit, but ancient. Even for an elf. And he looks at the rest of you and says something in Old Elvish that you can't understand, and then he realizes none of you understand him, and you see him cast a spell. Khazar, you can cast spells of this level. You know that what he casts is tongues. And you can all hear him, even though you hear the Old Elvish, you hear him speaking in Common, or whatever your native tongue is. Ah. I am confused. Why am I here? This does not make any sense to me.
Need a drink? I hand him a little bit. I hand him my flask of whiskey.
Takes the whiskey, gives it a sniff. Is there any sort of magical properties or anything crazy this thing does, or is it just whiskey?
Nothing crazy. It is the wormwood whiskey, though.
I think it does something. But anyways, he takes a squid.
It's more like better vision. Like, it gives him dark vision. It has you like better insight onto stuff, but it's nothing
Okay.
crazy.
I won't count this against one of your uses, but he takes a little swig and hands it back to you. And, thank you.
Helps.
Where am I? What is happening?
That one?
What's the last thing you remember?
That is a good question. And he's like thinking very hard. Takes him a couple seconds. He's like, I think one of the last things I remember is seeing. Oh my god. The cities they fell.
It's been some time since then.
And you can see he's kind of devastated for a second. Alwyn is writing furiously in a book right now. He's like not even hardly acknowledging that an old colleague of his that he didn't even know was alive is currently standing right in front of him and completely coherent and fine.
Oh, wait, wow. Mm-hmm.
So, why am I here? And I'm assuming everyone's just kind of standing awkwardly around.
Basically, it's like there's been some developments since your last memory. It's been a little while since that happened, and someone might be trying to do something similar. If this rings any bells of yours.
At this point, Alwyn, still furiously writing in a notebook of his, says, "You've been out of it for around 2,000 years, give or take. Your forest is slowly being corrupted, and yes, the cities fell. I assumed our people were dead. They are not. Apparently they are enslaved, or at least some ancestors of our people are enslaved. in the deep underground, and I think Lysander is pulling together some sort of army to attack because one or more of the pieces have been gathered by a single person, so obviously he's going to assume that we are going to be mounting a war, or we're going to be trying to take his piece from him, and it's the first crack in Alwyn's facade that you guys as a party has ever seen. The paranoia is infectious in him. And not that it necessarily spreads to you guys, but it's kind of heightening your anxiety a little bit. Just being near someone who's thinking through all of the things that could possibly go wrong in every event of everything that could go wrong. Abrash just looks stunned and says, That is not the Lysander that I remember. I do not believe that he would do this.
Maybe he's changed in the years?
Lysander has a strong will and a good heart. I don't see him doing something of this effect. But if the contract has officially been broken, then I suppose he is free to do as he wishes.
He's been doing as he wishes for far longer than you can imagine, my friend.
As I'm sure Alwyn has. I mean, he looks around the study for a while, and then kind of looks out the window. And you can see, even for an old guy, it looks like he might have cataracts. He has a very piercing gaze. And he says, It seems to me that Alwyn has done all right for himself in his time here. I see no reason why Lysander should not have done the same.
The difference is Lysander has committed genocide.
Mass killings.
What do you mean by this?
Well, for one, he poisoned my city and killed my wife. He also apparently blew a hole in the realms, killing possibly millions of people.
I
Lysander
remember...
is only responsible for bringing peace and prosperity across the land.
I remember that when we set out with the goal of the invention of this artifact, we all agreed on how it should have been used, and perhaps Lysander was a bit too hasty. I cannot imagine that he would have done what he had done if he knew the ramifications, the consequences of his actions. A mistake, a grievous and tragic mistake, but a well-intended one.
Someone had to pay for his mistake.
You can see that Alwyn is growing more and more frustrated the longer Abrash is talking. Like, visibly frustrated, and he doesn't show emotion super often. Well, why restore my mind? Why? What is the purpose of any of this? And he looks towards Alwyn, and Alwyn says, Listen, your mind was completely gone. I could use all the allies I can get right now, but you don't. He's changed. He's not the same as you remember. He's not who he was. You're just as passive and indecisive as ever. You can't be a professional. And he gets back to writing and just like super frustrated with this sort of, I don't pick a side this way or that way nature of how Abrash is kind of presenting himself.
So the tough part is Abrash. assuming I can speak common now. So like you said, you used to use tongues, right?
Oh, don't worry about that. No, the language barrier is gone.
The tough part is, I think Alwyn and Lysander were going to use the weapon, but then I was not entirely sure how. But Alwyn realized what some of the consequences would have been. I think Lysander probably got a little too committed and was too focused. Where Alwyn backed off, Lysander proceeded, but then he didn't have the support, and that is most likely what caused all the cities to fall. And now he wants to try again, trying to get other support, thinking that if he has support, it'll definitely work this time because he's definitely committed. Where the ramifications are still technically there. So I know he may have seemed like a very self-righteous person, where I think we all tread the same path until we definitely diverge at some point.
And he takes a minute there, and he's just kind of stroking his long white beard. I advised both Lysander and Alwyn against many things that they chose to do anyways. Does not
Floating
make
cities?
either. No. I mean, I was not necessarily overly fond of the idea of floating cities. I do like keeping my feet firmly on the ground, but that is just the price of innovation, I suppose. No, I was referring more to the modifications that Alwyn wanted to add to the device. And I also, once Alwyn was aware of the potential ramifications of something going wrong, and came to me with the idea of perhaps this starting a divine war, I thought the idea far-fetched, but it was a wise idea to perhaps not go through with our original plan. And I think Lysander did not care for that idea. None of us really cared for it. I want to see the mistakes of our pantheon rectified, but I do not think killing, and especially not killing gods, is a way to go about it anymore. I do not want to disrupt all of the planes for purpose.
I think that's the current agenda. At least from Lysander's perspective. Be nice if there was another way.
Abrash, you seem to be adept in the ways of nature. You seem very powerful, especially if you keep the company of Alwyn and Lysander, capable in your own way. Don't you believe, given your influence from nature, in the balance of things?
Yes, I do believe in balance. I do believe that there is give and take in nature.
My only concern is that although parties acting in this situation may believe that they are trying to achieve a greater good, there is no balance, and there's no one to pay the price besides commoners with their life. So right now we have two train carts being pulled in opposite directions, and there's no balance. We were hoping to get a third perspective from you, but with all due respect, being wishy-washy about it is not helping.
He strokes his
do-
beard again. Go ahead, Newmont.
I do agree with Cassian there. I realize that Lysander wants what's best for his people, to give back to all the elves something that's an eternal bliss, and rectify the pantheon that became corrupt and kicked them all out. But from what we've seen in our adventure so far, everything to achieve that goal has caused nothing but death and misery for people that aren't even involved in getting that eternal bliss.
But you say that Lysander was trying to move your city, move your people. So I do not think that this is true. I think that he is trying to do this without making the same mistake. I do not think it is perhaps the wisest decision, seeing as it has failed once. Perhaps he has thought of some way to make it succeed. Perhaps he is stronger than he was before. I do not know. But
Well, his original plan for moving my city was causing a disease and presenting himself as the cure. He didn't exactly come and ask us to move.
there was a cure.
That they
Not
couldn't
before
afford.
many people died.
And paid for.
It was a for-profit racket. Again, the means to an end. There's consequences for actions, and consequences that he does not have to pay. Someone else is responsible for that debt.
I do not know why he chose to do what he did, but I do know that he was trying to do it based on what I can gather, was trying to do it to move your people. I suppose he is willing to scramble a few eggs. But in his mind, his omelette is unparalleled. It seems perhaps he is misguided. I do not know. I would need to hear both sides of this story.
It doesn't always go very well. It's
No.
very
Can
contrasting.
you snap him here, Elwyn?
Alwyn pauses from writing vigorously for a second and says, "You saw what happened the last time I tried to bring him here. He's a little bitch. He doesn't want to talk to anybody right now. He wants to pout and whine. Let him pout. Let him whine. I need to plan." And then he just keeps writing.
There's a chance to prevent global war. I think we should take it. We could at least
I
try and
agree.
communicate to Lysander.
It's hard to do when everyone in the room thinks they're the smartest one there.
The only problem with that theory, as Alwyn is writing currently, is I am quite literally the smartest person in every room I step into.
Exhibit A.
Point proven.
One pouts, one plans, one ponders. Will be
That's really good. I like that.
Inspiration.
Inspiration. Go ahead and take it, Kai.
Yeah, that was perfect.
So are you trying to convince Alwyn to open a portal for Lysander to come?
Yes.
Okay, go
Yep.
ahead and roll persuasion.
Okay. Is this an achievable roll?
It's going to be, what is the highest roll that you can do before I say yes?
Intimidation is a +8.
That's not the way to go. What's your highest persuasion roll you can do?
Didn't Kazar?
A
Chime
up
in,
22.
Oh, yeah. Kazar was the one that was doing it, right?
Yeah, 27 is the highest roll I could get.
Okay. My DC was originally going to be above a 25, but I didn't have a number in mind. So we'll say you roll a 19 or a 20. We'll see what happens.
Oh boy.
Oh, it was almost a nat 20. It's a 2.
And
No.
right next to that
No.
number.
Yep. Yeah, Alwyn is so lost in planning right now. It seems like his paranoia is just kind of taking over. He's full plan mode, hardly acknowledging anybody's existence right now. I mean, if there was ever a time to be engaged in a conversation, it would be when you're reunited with a friend that you haven't seen for God knows how long. And he's lost right now in his own mind. Abrash looks at Alwyn and sighs and just kind of shakes his head a little bit as he looks back down at the ground.
Well, Abrash, it's pleasant meeting you, and much better than potentially being punched in the face. This is a much better environment to talk to you in.
By a giant monkey.
By anything.
And bear.
I am sorry for anything that I might have done, any harm that I might have caused you. And some of you guys are looking a little rough, right?
I think Sid's still got a couple splinters.
Yeah, no, I'm hurt.
He stretches out his hands and says, "Here, let me see if I can do something for you." All of you regain 27 hit points.
Dang.
That solves my boo boo from the acid
That's-
vial.
Almost.
the one damage you took.
Oh wait, really? Wow.
Yeah. At this point, Alwyn is not talking anymore. Abrash is just kind of stroking his beard, looking at the rest of you, and then looking at the floor. And then he says, "I think it is best if I talk with my friend for a while. If you would not mind, I would like some privacy."
Seems like a good idea.
Abrash,
All about-
before we leave, you created the forest from a desert, correct?
I did. It is one of my finer pieces of work. And you see, he looks proud at that. He gives a smile.
And in doing so, you were looking to kind of bring a piece of Arvander to the material plane. Is there a way we could help with that even more?
I'm afraid that what I could do is not even a pale imitation of what could be. And unfortunately, unless if one or all of you are fairly powerful druids that I could train, I fear there is not much that you could do to aid me or to invent your own such creation.
I didn't consider
Well, we'll
multi-class
leave
being
you
a druid.
to it.
Well, now's the time.
Yeah.
It's like, huh.
It is really now or never.
Literally no idea.
Well, if you should need to find me again, I will be in the forests and I will work at repairing the damage that has been caused due to my neglect. You can often find me in the Druid Grove. It is located near the center of the forest.
Does he have the bark at the moment?
No, Alwyn still has it, but he's trying to usher you guys out so he can
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
with Alwyn for a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
I'm gonna look on the floor for any pieces of that diamond.
Nope, they all made their way inside a Brash somehow.
You mean in Vicar's pocket?
Well, I bid you the best of luck of trying to come to some form of peaceful resolution. That seems pale at this point, but I would highly advise it if we can do it. You know, I'd love to avoid wars. But I don't know what happened, but you were a little unstable from at least when we met you. This cube that I have seems to have some side effects. I don't know if they're your bark or his, I forget whatever it looks like, has any similar side effects. But I would just say be careful if you can.
I will take that into account. Thank you. And I wish you the best of luck in whatever you pursue next. But please, I would like some space with my friend. For a time. I will see what I can do to prevent any unnecessary bloodshed. Alright.
Is there a
Alan, stay
door
in
to walk
touch.
out of?
And yeah, we'll kind of leave.
Yeah, Alan doesn't respond to you when you say that, but you do have the stone, so you know you can reach him if you need to. And yeah, the door is open, and as you guys all step through it, it disappears into...
Who's got the stick?
They do.
Alwyn
That one
does.
does.
And
Fuck.
Kai still has the cube, yeah.
Kai still has the cube.
I got my cube.
Well, it's gonna be a crazy chapter 3 arc, us hiding in a fucking cave with a cube while the two of them run around with.
I need to buy something that looks like a shiny cube or something. Found some of like those green fuzzy dice. I'm like, I fucking might
Yeah.
grab one of those.
It's basically the size of like what a pommel would be in a dagger. So it's it could fit inside your palm.
Big DC.
All right, and that we went past our time, but that was an important session. So
Yeah.
all right, we will pick up from there next time, boys.
Cool.
Word.
Think about what you guys want to do. If you guys have a general consensus, it would be nice to know what direction you're going to be headed at if you guys talk amongst yourselves before next session, just so Josh and I can have like some sense of what's happening with you guys.
Do you guys have a couple minutes now? I mean, Jacob.
I actually have to run.
I've got to.
No,
So.
I mean like Jacob
Yeah.
can go, but yeah, I mean if you guys want to talk, I mean.
No,
I've got
I gotta
10
bounce.
minutes.
But
Yeah, you're
you
John.
guys can talk. Bye.
Bye.
Yep.
See you guys.
Yep.